Welcome along to Broken&Unseen, your favorite podcast. And as usual, it's me, my humble self, Joel. And,
Big Sam is here again.
and so today we have in the house someone who knows what it is to want to become a football player, who wants to play professional football, and knows what it is to make a huge pivot. And so I want to introduce to you my friend Bogdan Porumb. Thank you, bro, for coming.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for your invitation, and let's do it.
That's good. So yeah, let's go straight into it. How are you doing, man? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very good right now. I'm enjoying life at the moment, without football, obviously, but I'm pretty good.
Yeah, enjoying life without football.
Yes, I can say that. It's not the same. It's a different type of life, but
Yeah.
I can say that I enjoy it
Nice,
because
nice.
you
So
only have one life.
mhm.
You must enjoy it.
Yeah, true. But I mean, I think personally, if you ask me sometimes if I'm enjoying life without football, it's a bit difficult to answer. You know why it feels like to have a dream, like you're laser focused and this is what you want to do, but at the end of the day, it doesn't work out. You know that feeling.
Yeah, you think that something is missing inside.
Yeah. Like there's something that is missing. Even though even if you have something different you're doing, life is good. But at the end of the day, when you're in that spot alone with no one, you still think to yourself like it could have, it could have. Do you have that feeling sometimes?
Yes, maybe, but not. I think not as strong as you. But it's obvious to have that kind of feeling because it's something that you did almost your whole life, or maybe like 70% of it from a young age, and of course, it's normal to have that kind of feelings.
Yeah.
Uh, that that remind me, I'm glad it was easy for you to make those changes in the first case, and that I think it has a lot to do with your upbringing, how you grow up, whether you're depending on football or you had other plans. Could you take us back a little on how your childhood was like?
Yes, of course, but in the first thing, I can say it was easy to adapt without football. But in time, when I had that surgeries, that thing approached me closer to God, and that kind of things helped me to see the things in different ways. And I took this decision, I think, with the help of God. He told me in some ways that I did everything was possible to reach a top level, but I think he has other kind of plans with me. That's why the change was a bit easier for me.
God's plan. God's plan is always the best. I know I can vouch for that for sure, and Joy knows that as well. But I mean, taking taking all this back in football as a child, you know, I mean, I'm sure you didn't have a plan B apart from football until you decided you don't want to play anymore. So how was your childhood like? Like growing up with football, how was it like with around your equals, around your mate, or were you dedicated at some point this is what you want to do, or you just wanted to do it for fun and be like, if it goes well, okay, or if it doesn't go well, fine.
Yes, to be honest, I have never had a plan B. I went full in with this. I started as I think as everyone on the streets playing football. After that, I went at a club, but as I remember, my all day, almost all day, was about football. Even watching football or playing football at the school, on the streets, at the football club. So my childhood was the most of the time playing football or about football. That's what I did my entire childhood. After that, when I joined the club here in my hometown, and as day was passing by, I was getting more and more serious about this big dream that I had since like 6 years old. As I remember, when I was watching the World Cup from 2006, when Italy won,
Yeah.
I remember that moment, and that's one of the moments when I said I want to become a professional football player.
You want to be the next Cannavaro, eh?
Yes, I remember Camoranesi with that long tail. You remember him?
Then that was when football was really, I wouldn't say it, fun and deadly at the same time. You need to have all it takes to go all in for a tackle. Then, yeah. But when did you start to see the green light? Like, when did you start to? Every one of us have this feeling. Like, at some point in our life, we just have this feeling like, look, I think it's happening.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
like
play.
you can do it.
I
Like
can do it. Like, when did you believe? When?
I think like 14 or 15 years old, when things were getting serious, when we were playing like final tournaments. I was playing constantly every single minute, and I was playing very good. I attracted the attention of bigger academies from the country, also national youth, and that's one of the moments when I was thinking that I'm gonna be a pro. I'm gonna reach a top level.
Your area was very good. I remember then. What's the name of this goalkeeper then at Sanatatia? He's not so tall.
Philip.
Not Philip. Before Philip.
Andre.
Andre. I remember then at some crosses, instead of him to go across those crosses, he called your name. Why was he doing it? I can't figure it out. Like the crosses overcoming, instead of him to go, he called Bogdan.
I think I remember.
Was it that he just has so much belief in you that you can go with, you're very good with height and you can jump and you're good with your head? And for me, I think as a goalkeeper, I would punch people rather than punch.
But you're tall. If Andre was not.
But with the hands up, I think he would still be taller than you if he jumped, right?
Of course.
So, but is it how you post yourself on that defense that he trusted you so much, and you become one dependable defender then that makes you start to think like, okay, you know what? Yeah, this is my territory now. How does that make you feel?
I think my character also suits my body physique, because I consider myself a kind of a leader in a lot of groups where I had a good position in the locker room, and also in the pitch. My good physique positioned me in a good confidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like as a center back, you're almost 2 meters, if not.
No.
It's 188.
Yeah, 180 something. But yeah,
190,
you have like in Germany what Germans call a typical defender. You know, German coaches like tall defender.
Over speed sometimes. I don't know why.
Yeah. So like, was there a point in your career where you felt like, yeah, I'm going to be the next big center back in Romania, or if not even the world?
Every time I had that thing in my head, because that's what I think when you propose something to be, you must to aim as high as possible. Every time I had that thing in my mind, I want to be the best center back in Romania, or even at higher levels.
Yeah.
Every time I had that thing in my head, I have the qualities and the work ethic and everything that I need to be the best on my position in Romania. Every time I had that thing in my head.
Mm-hmm. And also, looking back at your childhood and growing up, going into the football academies, like, were your parents supportive of your career? I mean, the last episode we did with Joel Lama, he was telling us his stories about how his mom was not supportive. No, I mean, not really supportive.
Not supportive, but was supportive, backdoor,
She was skeptical. And I had similar stories as well. I remember my mom telling me, what will I be telling my friends? Like, my friends are telling me my son is a doctor, my son is a lawyer, and I'm going to say my son is a football player, Did you have something similar to this?
Luckily, my parents supported me from the first time.
Yeah.
Also, I think I had a little word to say. I said, look, this is my dream. This is what I'm going to do. If you support me, good. If not, I'm still going to do this. And I think they understand from a young age that I told them this thing, and they supported me 100% in all my moments. Even the worst one, they supported me. They were there. So that's one of the things that I appreciate a lot on them. I can say that I had their support.
Yeah, I also think, in my personal opinion, making it as a professional footballer, the support you get from your family, your parents, it plays a huge role.
Yeah,
You
very
know.
very huge.
So yeah. So do you think, like, what were some of the sacrifices that you saw your parents make for you? Like, you hear players all the time saying, my dad used to drive me 2 hours to training, or 5 hours to training. You know.
Yes, now that I look back in time, I remember my father when I was young, like
Yeah.
until 10 or 11 years old, he used to drive me to trainings. I remember when it was winter, he had a old car, and every time after training finished, he was waiting there with the car. The engine was on and the heat was going. He waited for me with the heat on, so to don't feel any cold after the training
Yeah.
is finished. I also remember my mom doing a lot of sacrifices every time, uh, making sure I was eating healthy. I was have everything that could fuel me, my body
Yeah.
to be there to maximum capacity.
Yeah.
So yes, my parents sacrificed a lot on a lot of areas and a lot of aspects.
Yeah. And do you feel like there were times in your career where maybe you were underestimated or overlooked? Let's say, like, we all sometimes, like, you're sitting on the bench and someone is playing and you're asking yourself, but
What am I doing here?
what am I doing here? Like, were there times like that for you?
Yes, I had that kind of time. I think twice,
Yeah.
or yes, twice at two different teams with two different coaches, and it's a very very hard to handle time. Very hard to be there on the bench to know that you train much better, you are much better, your quality and everything is much better, and you deserve to be there on the pitch, and you're not. It's a very very bad situation to be there.
Yeah.
But every time I had that thing in my mind, I can change this just by myself, to train harder, to show the coach that I deserve to be there, and that was the single option.
Yeah.
Put, how you say in Romania, put your head down and still work harder.
Yeah. But I think, like, honestly, it's easier said than done, because it's much easier said than
I
done,
agree.
because
But what is the one thing you would tell yourself at that moment? Is it just put your head down and be upset at the coach, or thinking, okay, this coach doesn't know what he's doing? I mean, but as a football player, that discipline always have to count, to put yourself in a position whereby no one have to see that you are upset, even though within you, you're disappointed. But we always have that one word. It can come from our parents, from our friends, but what we say to ourselves is usually the best at that time. What is that one word you would tell yourself that keeps you going, that want to make you come back to training the next day or the next 2 days after the break?
I think it's not just one word. It's everything that builds me, my character, my mentality, my all the things that I prepare behind the scenes. I knew I was working very hard. I knew I took care of my sleep, of my rest. My food, my alimentation was very, very good, calculated. I trained also off the pitch, also on the pitch, but extra. I had everything in my mind, and I said, I know what I'm doing, so it's gonna be okay. But it's they are hard times to manage, because when it comes to mental part,
It's never easy, isn't it? Yeah, I know. So what really went wrong? Because looking at you, you're still in very good shape. Congratulations to that, unlike me. And you prepared your mind very well for that. You trained very hard. You took care of your diet, everything. So one would say, like, you live the kind of life which an athlete lives. And that means your body is ready to play. So what went wrong?
I get this question quite often, and I have two options to answer here. Only was God plan, or I wasn't enough good. I hadn't enough quality to reach the top level. I have two options. I don't know which is the right one, or maybe a bit of both. But
Now you put God's plan on this. It's a bit complicated for me because I believe, yeah, God do have a plan for us, and I believe that 100%. I'm not even playing. Now the other one that maybe you didn't have enough quality, maybe it's not for you, or I don't know. Could that be the main reason? Because there was a time Joe went back home for rehab. He made a statement. He said, "I don't want to look back tomorrow and say to myself, I didn't do enough to continue playing." And there was a time he also asked me, don't you think that you gave up football too easily? Because even when I came to Cluj and tried to play, my head was not there. Every every ball I have to go for, I have to think twice. What the doctor told me, be careful. After 2 times of this stand-up. So all that in my head, you can give me a back pass. Sometimes I'm frozen. I don't know what to do. So he asked me, do you ever think about it that you stopped too early? But my mind was not there anymore in that way because it became like I'm selfish. I'm putting my team in danger because I hesitate to go for 50-50 challenges and all those kind of stuff. Was there at some point whereby you having those thoughts that maybe you're not good enough or maybe it wasn't for you? Apart from God's plan, we cannot question that. Was there a time, do you think that was the reason why you just didn't push yourself further because you start to have these thoughts?
no, that's one of the reasons why I quit, because I consider that I did everything that was on my hand to be a professional football player, from point zero to point 100. Everything I think I did all my best to be a professional, but it wasn't to be. Maybe, as you said, my quality was not enough. Maybe, I don't know, but I don't have any regrets of quitting too early, or things like this. I think I was preparing everything perfectly, or almost perfectly, of course.
So do you okay, let me put it in this way. Do you think, or do you feel like the structure of maybe the football was not really the best to accommodate the skill set that you had? Do you feel like that there wasn't enough opportunities?
Yes, maybe even in the youth, when you're in the youth, maybe the structure was not enough, was not very good and very well prepared. But I'm not the kind of person to blame someone or put the blame on something. I
Because you were definitely good enough. It's,
Exactly my
yeah,
point.
it's not like
That's the part I can't really figure it out.
yeah. It's not like I didn't watch you play. I watched you play. I played with you, so I know you were definitely good enough.
Now, this is my problem, a very big one. So, we in Africa, we do everything. I mean, a lot of talents are there, maybe not even as good as you, but just because they have something in them, just because they think they can do something, they cross the sea, they find a way, they risk their life just to cross over to the other side. All they want is what? Opportunity to show themselves. Now there was a time we were discussing, we were talking about good players here in Cluj, in Romania. Paul, many of them young, very young, and you telling me that I'm not talking about the injury. You cannot predict that. Someone telling me now that at the age of 21, if I'm still 21 right now, this knee, I'll break it and fix it again. Imagine 21, 19, quitting football, like just because the structure in Romania is not good. And Romania is in the European Union. It takes one bus. I'm not even using flight now. It takes one bus away to get to another country, or a drive away, and go try your luck and see how you can push. But why is it that many young ones here don't have that courage? Because if I have the opportunity whereby I don't have to fight for resident permit, I don't have to fight for passport, the first time I stepped in Istanbul and I feel like, oh, okay, France, if it doesn't work out, England, I believe probably, of course, you can talk about injury. Maybe where you play, where you are, might have just changed a little thing for you. Why are boys, especially here, not taking that bold step? Is it fear, or is it lack of belief, or they just too enclosed to the family?
Yes, I think the main thing is the comfort zone. A lot of people, even in the country, when you have a offer from a longer distance, from the south of the country or things like this, they say, look, I'm a long distance from my family. I prefer something closer to home. And this could be a main a main thing why I think they are in the comfort zone, and it's harder from them to go outside. And also to go outside, you must have kind of connections, because it's not that easy. You go outside, look, go at the club, look, I want to take trials here, because you know how it is in football.
I can understand that.
Yeah, because like almost all the guys my batch at Sanatatia, the year I started at Sanatatia, most of the guys don't play anymore, and they're almost the same age as you and a bit younger. They are doing something else now. So I've always been asking myself that question, like, but why? Because where we come from, there are guys who would pay whatever, who would sacrifice anything to have that opportunity, you know. But then I see a lot of guys. So I sometimes I feel like maybe the drive is lacking, or maybe I don't know, like you said, the comfort zone, you're with your family and things like this, you know. So I've always been wondering, and it's good now to hear from you, you're a living testimony to that. Because like I told you before, I feel like even now you can still play, you know. So maybe you just realize like probably I'm better off doing something else, or
I agree with that, Joy. I said from my intro, I said one thing about me is that I know when to understand when it's not working anymore. I know when I see it, I push a little. I don't force it, because at the end of the day, like you said, that's probably not what God have for you. God have another plan for you. When I said I'm upset, it's not because of the people who are not doing it. It's just because I'm upset. I'm tired of people trying to blame the system for not having enough motivation on themselves. Like if I had the opportunity, like I'm upset because I didn't have that opportunity. I have to leave my father's, my mother's house, my parents' house, family at the age of 16 to another continent, So it's even more sad that it didn't work out for me. But now no one can tell me that I didn't give my all. Then if I look back, do I regret? No. I mean, if I didn't have injury, probably the story would be different. So that's where the question of regret is. I'm glad from the beginning you said you don't have any regret, but that's you. Now, there are other people watching this, young ones coming up, looking up to some certain players who want to grow in what they do. They love the game. What would you give? What kind of advice will you throw to their face? Like, yo, don't be like me. Don't be like them. Don't depend on the system. Fast shaver, something like that.
My advice for the younger ones is to give 100% in what they dream, to don't listen to other, and to push themselves. I know what you mean, that you come from abroad, from another continent, but I think the guys like you are a different breed, and you also don't know the system where you're coming. You come here, you don't know everything is, but we are from this country. We know what they are doing behind the scenes, with teams, with selection to national teams, with all kind of, with agents and with sports directors and
agents.
I don't want to hear agents anymore.
It is
something else terrible.
Yeah. See, let me tell you something, yeah. I think this thing with selecting players to the national team or to clubs, it's the same everywhere. Because, for example, he comes from Nigeria, I come from Cameroon. Cameroon is it's two languages, French, English. So it's like two different zones. So most of the times, only the guys from the French-speaking part get the opportunities to play in the national team, you know? And like growing up, I used to always wonder, like, why is it just French guys who are playing in the national team? That's because in the English-speaking part, there are not so many opportunities, and The English guys don't have godfathers and things like this. So I think it happens everywhere, you know. And growing up, I always told myself that one day, if I get a platform like this one now, to be able to talk about these things, you know, I will talk and I will bring people who have had similar experiences to be able to talk. Because my junior brother, he plays now here in Romania, you know. I'm not going to call names. When he was back home, I don't know if you guys know about this an academy called Aspire Academy. It's based in Qatar. They go around the world picking the best talents to take them to Qatar and train them. They came to Cameroon. Every time they came, 3 times, he was the best player. Every time. But the final list to travel to Qatar, his name was never there. You guys, you understand what I'm saying? Like every time he was the best. But when it was time to travel, his name was never on the list. So it discouraged my father, you know? Like he was always asking, but why are they not picking his son? He knows he's the best. He brings the trophies home, he brings the everything, but when it's time to go, they don't take him because he's not Francophone, because he's not French speaking. So it's not just in Romania, it happens everywhere. And I think it's something that it kills the system in a way. It kills the system. And if you look at countries, most of the countries where this is happening, Africa, let's say Romania now, you see, when you go to the world stage, like the European Championships, in the World Cup, our countries do very poorly because most of the people who are playing, they don't merit.
Yeah, godfather.
Yeah, godfather. Who is your agent?
My coach is the brother of the president's coach. The agent is in-law to the team director. You know, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Because they all care at the moment, it's about the money. They don't care, or most of the time they don't care how good you are or things like this. They care who's your agent, what relations you have. And right now, at the moment, also political. In football, political has a very big word.
Yeah.
So, you know the thing.
Mm.
So, Bogdan, of course, this is Broken&Unseen. I mean, the whole idea of you stopping football began from the injury. So, I mean, there were a lot of pain, there are a lot of things you went through in that period that nobody really knew about. Would you be kind enough to talk us through your injury? Like that, I mean, I think that's the genesis of how it all started and stuff. You know.
My injuries, I had more.
Okay, injuries, yeah, sorry.
The injuries took part of why I decided to quit football, but I can say the main decision. Of course, injuries held me back from reaching top level, the level which I wished to achieve. But also, I had enough of the bullshit that is happening in Romanian football. That's this, I think, is a bigger how you say m-am încurcat acum. Motive, yeah. Why I decided to quit. So talking about my injuries, my first serious injury came in 2020. I had my first ACL injury to my right knee.
ACL. You know, we are always making jokes about the ACL and the injuries, you know. And he was telling me like probably I couldn't play again because mine was tied up too much.
Because the doctor told me then that Joe's knee, he made it very well. He put a very good screw and he tied it so it can be strong enough for him to get back. But
yeah, it was too strong. It was too strong. And I think you were telling me earlier that the what did you call it?
The graft.
Yeah, the graft was taken. Mine was taken from
my right knee also.
Mine was normal. It's a normal ligament that was taken from here because they cut from here, take it from here, and so when the one here between I think it's from the tibia. When it becomes too soft, when they try to, because they first cut it, they put something there to drag a long one. If it's too soft, during that process, it's going to break. So when it breaks in that period, they can't use it. And they cannot tell you that, look, what is there is too soft. They're going to take the one between the tibia and, I don't know, the kneecap or somewhere here. Then they bring a saw, drill a hole here, they take a measurement, take the bone here, they pull it out. Then they reconstruct it. But I saw the scar on his leg, then instantly I knew where they took his ligament. Mine is regular. That's why I think at this stage I'm okay. Not
After 3 days, he was
I left the hospital the next day.
Yeah.
He stayed 1 month. So
I was in hospital for 1 month. He was in hospital for 1 day.
So ACL for me is a nightmare. So take us through. Let's hear your own part. Sorry for the interruption.
Yes, my story about ACL is a bit different because I almost tore my ACL difference of 2-3 months. I have at my right knee, I had first time a partial torn, like 40% or something like that. The doctor told me, look, for the moment you don't need a surgery because you have strong muscles, have a good physique, and you could play like this maybe 2-3 more months, or maybe even 2-3 more years, or maybe even more, I don't know. But for the moment you don't need a surgery. So I kept training, I kept playing. At the warm-up before a game, when I was doing some sprints, I felt something again in my knee, like a pop, and I couldn't walk anymore.
That pop is the end of it.
You know, when I got injured, and Senataja sent me to the physio of HSAB, and I went. He examined my knee, and he asked me how I have been playing for all these years. He told me my knee was supposed to be done so many months ago. And yeah, he asked me how on earth have I been playing, because everything on my knee was done. Everything. He said to me, if I open your knee now, you have no ACL, you have no meniscus, nothing.
Yeah, and mine too. Everything was out of place.
Yeah.
As I told you, you are a different breed.
Where I understand that we actually play football through pain.
Yeah.
And the pain is real. That pain whereby you have to pretend like you're okay just because, like, you know the feeling of staying in the bench. You know, you don't want to stay. And you think there are people who are hungry. One day in the bench, you could take another 1 year to get it back. So are you okay? Yes, it's just a little, you tie it up, you're in. Then when you really can't play anymore, then it's really, really out of place.
You know, the worst thing about ACL injuries is most of them, I think 95% of ACL injuries is no contact. Like most of the times it's just you by yourself. Because my injury, nobody was even around me.
I didn't have a contact. Okay, I was pushed, but I didn't
For
have
me,
a contact.
You saw what happened to...
For me, the right, yes, was a change of direction, no contact. But to left, yes, I had a aerial duel. When I landed on the land, I had a contusion from the...
Same thing with me. Like, you saw what happened to Zlatan when he was playing for Manchester United. Same thing. Like, the ball was in the air, I went up as I was coming down.
And your knee went in the other position.
One direction. I knew it was done.
Meniscus.
Yeah.
ACL.
I knew it was done.
I think we're still looking for his meniscus now, but I think someone said this in Bucharest. We'll check, because the doctor said it was not in this place. Yeah, mine too, but yeah, what can I say? So after you got the injury, what was next for you? I mean, you prepared for surgery and what?
So as I told you, I had a partial torn when I had the other contact who tore my mother ligament. After that, I went again to doctor to see what is going with the other knee, because I was not feeling okay. He also said, look, it got worse. It's like 70% or 80% torn, and you need ACL. So he said you can do both surgeries because you need to walk.
Yeah, I remember. I think I remember. We met at physiotherapy, and you told me like you had to make a decision to do
which
one. Yeah.
So I let the doctor to decide. The doctor, you can take which one you want.
Courage to check this one till today.
So I had to make the surgery with a pause of 3 months between them. I had the first ACL surgery on October, and the other one on January.
My God.
The first.
Give you enough with one leg for.
Yeah. So between the two injuries, was the other one fully recovered before you did the other one?
No, not full. I could walk, but not run. I didn't run for almost 9 months or something like this, or 7 months. Something.
Thinking back now, you remember there was a doctor we went to see on, I think, Kaliatuzi. Remember, he told me, I was looking back now. Yeah, he said to me, he doesn't think I will ever play football again.
I also had that kind of situation.
That doctor we saw on...
It's not Kaliatuzi, Tetura Turkului.
Tetura Turkului, yeah.
Kalin's cousin.
Yeah, he looked at my knee and he looked at the MRI I did. He told me, nah.
No chance.
No chance.
I also had.
Yeah. And I didn't want to believe, like I was still young at the time. I said, no, this guy, he's joking.
I also had a kind of situation like this with in Hungary, where I had the first knee surgery went perfect. So right now my right knee is perfect. But when I had problems with my second knee, the second knee surgery I had in Romania because there was COVID and they closed hospitals in Hungary and couldn't be possible to have there. Yes.
Yeah.
And I had in Romania. I had complications, things like this. I went to him. Look, what's happening? Can you repair me? He looked. I said, "Oh, the ligament is too loose. Oh, it's not possible. You can't play like this. That's why your knee is still blocking. You have only one option to replace it, and it means not a normal surgery rehab. Normal rehab after surgery. He said it will take like 11 or 12 months. I said, oh, it's not possible. Look, 2 days ago I played full 90 minutes. How you say I need again? And he said, okay, look, you have 5 days to take a decision. If you decide in these 5 days, I can make the surgery like next week. I went home and I said, it's not possible. I can run, I can play, but I still feel something. I feel pain, but it's not possible to have surgery again.
Yeah.
After that, I took the decision, no, I'm not going to do surgery. I will check other doctors. Also, after that, I went to another doctor in Hungary, different doctor, and he said, I will try to clean your knee, and in 1 month, you will be better. And that was much better. And I still had, that was the last.
So you took the easy route. I mean, that was what you wanted to hear.
That was what you wanted to hear.
The guy to tell you that in 1 month you can be good. But did you wish you listened to the first guy? Because 11 months is a lot, but you would be perfectly fine.
I don't know.
So, but let's get one thing straight. Did you stop football because of the injury or because you looked at the situation around and said, no, I'll do something else?
No, because of the injury. Because after all the injury, I managed to get back third league. After I came back to second league, I was good. Not because of injury. Of course, injury held me back to reach a higher level, of course.
Yeah, it delayed your plan. Yeah.
Of course. But that was not the main reason. Because right now, I'm not good fit. I can play. I can go football. I still feel pain because it's not like before. After you have a surgery, no, it's not like before. But I'm fit. I can play. That was not the main reason. It was one of the reasons, but the main is because I get enough. I had enough of the bullshit that happens right now in Romanian football.
Yeah. It's our podcast. It's okay to curse. He can say bullshit.
It's okay.
No problem.
Is there any of this bullshit? Is there any of this bullshit that was very personal to you that you like to talk about?
Like something personal, something maybe a coach did or something, an agent or, I don't know, a team that you were like, nah, this is...
I don't want to consider personal. Yeah. That, the things that happen inside the room, the locker room, the colleagues maybe or the coaches, but I don't like to give that kind of examples or name because I'm not, as I told you, I'm not that kind of person to blame someone or to put the finger, look, you, no. Yeah.
You leave it to God.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So anyways, enough of football. Enough of football. We've been talking for over 40 minutes about football, and like you said before, this is the Broken and Unseen podcast. And one of the main ideas behind the podcast is for guys like us with similar stories to come together, have a conversation. Like you said, usually we used to talk in the locker rooms, and so we both of us we have a lot of history. We have a lot of things that have been broken inside, things that are unseen, and that's where the name came from. And so, I mean, after football now, what are you up to these days? Like, what is it that you still have inside you that you feel like you can still give to society
Oh,
apart from football?
that's a good, very good question.
Yeah,
I think I'm a kind person, and I can share that thing to others, and to help others and to learn others to be more kind, because the world this moment are not very kind. Everyone are trying to earn their little share,
yeah.
and they are very mean to say with others. So what could I give to others? It's a good question. Maybe in the future to return in the sport area, but for the moment I prefer to stay away for it, to take a break.
So I saw you're into business now. So how is it? Do you think is it more satisfying than football? Is it less stressful than football? What's the difference between going into business and being a professional football player? What's the difference?
It's a big difference. You still have stress, but it's a different kind of stress. In football, you have stress for
Physical stress.
physical stress and also mentally before
Yeah.
before games. You are mentally stressed. You can say you're not. Here are different problems, different stress, but I can say that I enjoy it. But as you say, maybe sometimes I miss football.
Yeah,
I think we all do.
we all do.
So now, I guess, like you said, from the beginning, you said you didn't have a plan B. It has always been football.
Never.
So as time goes by, you decided to take on something else and leave football aside. Like you said, you will return someday to sport. You don't know when. So, doing what you're doing right now, like it can never be the same with football. Football for people who started that young is life for them. I mean, it's all I knew before I became a nurse. I don't know how I got there, but it was all I knew. But I'm gonna ask you a question. How are you? Like, how is your mental state? How are you mentally? How are you coping? How are you dealing with the fact that this is who you are now? Accepting it. How does that affect you mentally? How is your state of mind?
Yeah,
I can say that I'm good. As I told you, when I took that decision to quit football, I was 100% sure that, look, this is what I want to do, to quit football. So I'm good mentally, but I think one reason which helped me to be good is because I don't stay away from sport. I train every day, 6 times per week. I go to gym, to box or something, to football. So that's maybe one of the reasons why I don't feel bad or something like this. And I still watch games. I go to games. I watch games.
Is there any player that you watch today that you feel like, yo, I could have done better than that guy, or we started together.
you don't have to call.
You don't have to.
You don't
Feel
have to
free.
call names, but if you want, yeah.
I mean, we started together. Like I can categorically tell you about someone who we started together, and he was like a ball boy for me, you know. And as time goes by, I was here in Romania. He was playing in Watford, and that hurt crazy. But I don't talk about it anymore because And I just be like, okay, now you don't say that boy anymore. That senior player now. Is there anybody like that? Like you would be like, okay, we started together, or I mean, I was sure I would get there before him. Like, but my propose, God can dispose. Based on your belief, I mean, God changes things the way He wants, or make things the way He planned for you. But if you would relate, how would you relate it?
You have your plans and God has his plans.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have a lot of examples in my mind, but this is life. I'm not jealous of him or something.
Where I am,
You are?
sometimes.
I'm not, but I have
Joking.
I have a lot of examples which I know players that were much worse than me. I know I was much better than them, but they reached a good level, and they was not as serious as I was and as hardworking as I was, but they are there right now. But I'm very happy from them.
I'm
Very
happy
happy.
too.
It's funny because if when you look at football nowadays, like there are so many guys we were together at Poli Timișoara. Now some of them play like FCSB, Craiova, Farul, and I look at them and like, wow. So it's not always you who is the disciplined guy, who is the most talented, who makes it to the top. And that's something we have to actually live with.
So now we can all agree here,
Yeah.
for that. Sometimes it's not always how hard you work
Yeah.
in the game of sport. It's not how talented you are. Talent can do a lot, but it's just
I think
it's not for you. It's not for you.
Like we usually always said that there's nothing like luck, but I've come to the realization that there's a bit of luck.
A bit of luck.
Yeah.
A little bit.
A little bit of luck
A little bit of more than a little bit, right?
Yeah, because for example, if you didn't get the injuries, if he wasn't injured, if I wasn't, probably would.
Who knows?
You never know.
That's one thing we'll never know. That's why I am annoyed.
But what I personally believe is you must to accept the situation, because otherwise you will be frustrated and you have every time regrets and things like this. You must accept the situation. It is what it is. Life goes on and move forward.
Like you said before, like it all boils down to your belief, and we all believe in God. And after, you remember we met before COVID, before the pandemic. I was still trying to play at the time, and one day we were talking, drinking. I said to him, "Look, I think I'm done." Like I said to him, I've given my all, I have done my best, and I have come to the realization that God has something else for me. And it took me a lot of time. I prayed about it for so long. I asked God for directions, and God made me realize, like, for example, I'm thinking to myself, maybe if I kept on playing football, I would have probably died of heart attack on the pitch, And now I said, okay, what can we do outside football, which is still something to football? That's how we came up with this. Now we are sitting here, and like he was saying, we talk so much about mental health. That's something that a lot of organizations overlook, and we are all guys here. And most times you might not feel comfortable to go sit and talk to a shrink. That's why we have this platform to bring guys. Let's have locker room discussions. Let's talk and, talk about those broken things, those unseen things that people don't usually feel comfortable to talk about. And so my last question to you will be, do you feel like in Romania and in football in general, FIFA, UEFA, I don't know, FRF, do you feel they do enough to help footballers go through injuries? For example, let's say guys like me, like him, like you, who because of injury didn't get to play at the highest level. Do you feel like these bodies in charge of football are doing enough to help us mentally overcome these barriers that we faced? And do you feel there is more that can be done in terms of this to help with mental health, to help like make the guys realize that football is not everything. Apart from football, the highest you can play football is maybe 15 years maximum. If you're not Ronaldo, if you're not Modric, Ramos, to play for 30 years, maximum 15 years at the best, at the top level. So, in your opinion, do you think like more can be done to help guys like us to,
Yes, of course, you said about mental part, but also the financial part, when you have a surgery or injury, it's very hard. You also had, I think, that kind of problems because the clubs, they don't give a shit.
I'm sure you say that it is.
Yeah.
And the financial part is also important when you have an injury. And mental, as you said, in Romania especially, all the teams, not only if you are injured, but also when you are playing and when you are training, very few teams have that mental coach or things like this. The mental training in Romania is zero, I think, which is a very, very important part to be mentally prepared to all the situations. Even if you're injured, even if you're not playing, even if you're playing and you don't have enough confidence and things like this. So the mental part should be they should have a better attention to the mental part, because it's very important for.
They are not machines, and players are humans, and they also deserve some care, not only what they can produce. Because I see now that most of the players now, they are more important based on what they can produce to the club, but no one cares about what they can offer this player to be in a better mental state. So my last question for you will be right now, if one person who has been trying so hard to get into a team or play to the top level and at some point get frustrated because he met a bad system or he couldn't do it. Let's say injury was never involved and he's frustrated, his self-esteem went down because he got to believe that he can't do it anymore. And you are the only person who can advise the person right now. Let's assume he's watching. What will you tell him?
Don't give up, because you are the only one who can change that situation. Nobody will come to help you, or the most of the time nobody will come to help you. So don't give up. Set something in your mind and go achieve that thing, because only you can do this.
Like I always say, only you can also tell your story. Thank you very much for being with us today, and it's been very wonderful having you.
Thank you very much. It was a
Thank you,
pleasure to be
bro.
here.
Thank you for coming. And so it's been your favorite duo, Joel
And that Big Sam.
And until next time, follow us on social media and follow our friend Bogdan Porumb on Instagram. We will drop his Instagram link. You can follow him to learn more business tips. And yeah, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, on TikTok. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please, we need to grow this channel. And to anyone out there, any aspiring football players, if you have any questions to ask me and Big Sam or Porumb, we will drop our email down below. You can send us an email, you can text us on Instagram or whatever. And until next time, Valate DJ Klim. Shelele.